Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Crabtree with Homeschool Holiday. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about the language that we use with children. This is a topic that's really important to me, and I wanted to just share some things that I've learned over the years and the way that I did things in my classroom and my home with my own children. When we're teaching, we have a captive audience. They hang on every word. I remember telling my classroom that I wouldn't tell their parents what they told me if they didn't go home and tell their parents everything I said. Sometimes the things that would fly out of my mouth were pretty humorous. It wasn't designed to keep secrets or anything strange like that, but you know, sometimes when you say something totally off the hook. But really, I was everybody's favorite teacher while they were in my class, and then when they moved on to the next grade, you know, that teacher was their favorite teacher. That's how kids operate. So they're bound and determined to hang on every word that you say. And what you say can inadvertently impact their futures. So when I was in high school, I had a teacher who told me I was a genius. I was far from a genius. I'm just an average, normal, everyday student. But she just kept telling me over and over, no matter how many mistakes I made, and I eventually began to believe it and do better and better and better in her class. And I realized she was telling everyone in her class that they were also a genius. But that didn't bother me at all. I chose to believe her. And I chose to believe that I could do anything I set my mind to. So I adapted that type of a philosophy in my classroom as well. So some of the things that I like to say with my students are, I ban the use of I can't. If I had $1, even a nickel, for every time students will say I can't, sometimes without even trying. I know it's hard because it's something that you haven't done before, so it seems overwhelming. But in my home and my classroom, the words I can't are not allowed. So I really want to encourage students to come up with a different language. And I always tell them, you can do hard things. So instead of letting them fall victim to the I can'ts, my words are always, you can do hard things. I also try and remove test anxiety. That's a big thing. We're going to have a test. We're going to test. I know that you're going to be exposed to tests, so not giving them isn't always an option. But I simply called them an activity. We're going to do this activity, and I want you to show me what you know. So tomorrow, we're going to have a show what you know over chapter 5 in your math book. Take a look at it, do some practice problems, and then tomorrow you're going to show me what you know about chapter 5 in math. Some of the kids caught on and they were like, is this a test? Nope, it's an activity. It's called Show What You Know. I just kept with that language over and over, and I watched them become more and more successful. So speaking of math, math tends to cause a lot of anxiety. Maybe it was just me, because I didn't feel confident in math. Math is full of problems, right? We assign math problems to kids. Already that just has a negative connotation. So how about instead of math problems, we give them math calculations or math operations? What if you come at it and we're surgeons and we're going to do math operations? Doesn't that sound much more fun to dig into math that way and get down to the nitty-gritty of the numbers and how the numbers are working together and what they're supposed to do? I find that much more interesting and successful of language than having to solve a bunch of math problems. I don't want to solve problems all day, but I'd much rather do calculations or operations. those were much more successful. So if you see that the language that we choose can have a huge impact on how children learn. It's not always easy and it doesn't always flow naturally. I made these changes over years. When I was a first year teacher, a young teacher, I didn't have these skills. I wish there was a class that had taught me, good things to say in a classroom. It's okay to tell them, I don't know. Let's find out together. Let me show you another way. I think kids get frustrated by not being able to understand. I sometimes would have to go get someone else to explain a concept to a student or my child because I was out of ways to explain it to them. And that's okay. It's okay to admit that you don't know how to do it or that you're having a hard time explaining it. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time communicating this to you. I would always take the blame. It's my fault. Mrs. Crabtree's having a hard time explaining this. How about we go get someone else who can explain it to you? Or let's take a break and we'll try again tomorrow. You don't need to do this right now. Takes the pressure off. Changes a lot in their attitude. And they love to know that as an adult, things don't always come easy for you as well. So the language we use is really important with our children, with our students, and everyone around us. So I hope you learned a little bit something today, maybe a phrase that you can take with you, and that I was able to show you a little bit peek into my homeschool and classroom. I hope you have a blessed day and you'll join us again at Homeschool Holiday.